Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back another video day, and today the Houston Texans have claimed Diontae Johnson, one-time Pro Bowler, 28-year-old wide receiver from the Baltimore Ravens, more known for his time in Pittsburgh and his time in Carolina. Diontae Johnson has spent most of his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, starting in 2019, all the way until this past offseason when the Steelers traded him to Carolina. He started off the season in Carolina, where it was a really good season for him in Carolina. And through 7 games, he had 357 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and he was averaging 51 receiving yards a game. Then he gets traded to Baltimore, and things unfortunately didn't work out in Baltimore. He was only targeted 5 times and only had 1 reception for 6 receiving yards. Texans obviously need a wide receiver addition with losing Tank Dell on Saturday with a brutal knee injury. I'm really wishing that Tank recovers, but unfortunately, Tank's not going to recover this year. I mean, he's definitely out for the rest of the year and most of next season. So with Diggs also out for the year, and I don't think there's a lot of other talent. Well, there are some other really solid wide receivers on this roster outside of Nico Collins. I like John Mechie. Robert Woods is a vet, and I think a guy that C.J. Stroud definitely has experience with, since he's been on the team for 2 years now. And Xavier Hutchinson has some solid potential, but I don't really look at those guys at all and look at them as wide receiver 2s. I look at Mechie and Woods and say, okay, I think one of these 2 guys can step up and be a wide receiver 3. But I don't look at either 3 of Hutchinson, Mechie, or Woods for that matter, and look at those guys like they're going to be the wide receiver 2 next to Nico Collins. And Diontae Johnson, I don't think he's as good as Tank Dell, but I don't think it's that far off. And I also think he's way better than Robert Woods, John Mechie, and Xavier Hutchinson. So I'm very excited for this addition. And I'm very excited that the Houston Texans lost their past week against the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that sounds crazy. And, and then I'm going to get into that. Obviously, I want to see the Texans have success. I want to see them win. But their loss is probably the reason why they have Diontae Johnson right now, and he's going to be the new wide receiver 2 for the Houston Texans. So with the waiver claim, basically teams with worse records have the best shot to go get him, or to go get someone who's on the waiver wire. So Diontae Johnson, if the Giants wanted to add him in, the Giants have the first claim. So if the Texans would have lost the game, if the Texans would have won the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Texans would have been 10-5, and they would have had a better record than the Chargers, who were 9-6. The Chargers were the only other team that actually wanted Diontae Johnson, or that was serious about making claims. The Chiefs were also interested in adding him, but they're literally the last that's in the waiver claim. So if the Texans beat the Chiefs, we're probably talking about how Diontae Johnson is a Charger. And obviously it would have been great if the Texans beat the Chiefs, but you have to have a Tank Dell replacement. And I honestly don't know who the Tank Dell replacement if Diontae Johnson is in L.A. Is it Odell Beckham Jr.? Is it Chase Claypool? Or is it one of John Mechie or Robert Woods? So I think maybe losing in Kansas City, it definitely hurts to see your team lose, but it might have been a blessing in disguise, because it really did help the Texans land Diontae Johnson. But I've had my eyes on it as a Texans fan. I've had my eyes on Diontae Johnson for a while. Literally the night before the Texans played the Chiefs, for that Friday night, I made a video about the Texans potentially signing Diontae Johnson. I wanted the Texans to pick him up before the Texans actually lost Tank Dell. And when the Ravens waived Diontae Johnson, I did say in the video, I said, this actually might hurt you as a team. It doesn't. You didn't actually lose something that was valuable to your team, because he really wasn't. But I did say in my video, watch out for a team that they're about to play soon. I said, watch out for the Texans being a potential team where Johnson could land, and the Ravens do play the Texans in their next game against the Texans on Christmas. So if Johnson could man, if Johnson could suit up, he could hurt the Ravens on Christmas. So we'll see if Johnson does play tomorrow. I'm not sure. We haven't heard anything about that so far. I'd love to see Stroud have Diontae Johnson throw the ball to tomorrow. We'll see if that happens. But he could, hurt his old team tomorrow, which would be interesting. I'm interested to see what kind of chemistry him and CJ Stroud have. But I think this is a great guy to have as the wide receiver 2 next to Nico Collins compared to guys like John Mechie, Robert Woods, and Xavier Hutchinson. And I'm a lot more excited about what the wide receiver room looks like now. And I think now that you have Nico, obviously, as your number 1, and you have Diontae Johnson your 2, and then it's Woods or Mechie as your 3, I really love the way that looks for this Texans team. Let me know your thoughts on the Texans claiming Diontae Johnson in the comment section, and peace out.